I mean, you've had it pretty good. So there's a degree of jealousy involved.
Andrew Tate is roasting Jake and Logan Paul together.
Logan Paul is a bitch, and I will say that here publicly. If anyone wants, I'll fight him for free.
Back again, polluting combat sports like sewer rats that won't flush. Jake and Logan Paul have pushed Andrew Tate and everyone with a brain too far. They treat boxing like a cash-grabbing WWE-style reality show, staging yet another overhyped scripted scam disguised as a fight on March 27th.
He doesn't stand up for anything, and he doesn't mean anything he says.
Let's be clear, this isn't about skill, competition, or proving who's better. It's about selling PPVs, manipulating fans, and squeezing every drop of attention before people finally see through the scam.
Logan Paul doesn't believe in any of the things he says. Logan Paul is a man, if you ever were unfortunate enough to consume his content, I get sent clips of it all the time by people mocking him.
Before Tate was banned, Logan praised him, reposting clips and acting like a fan. But the moment Tate got canceled, Logan flipped faster than a cheap politician on election day, suddenly calling Tate problematic and parroting the same weak scripted corporate narrative about him being a bad influence.
He said, oh, I think he even said in his video he made about me, when you get canceled, you know, Andrew's pretending he doesn't care and he's some stoic warrior, but I know how much it hurts. Logan, it hurt you because you're a bitch. I don't give a fuck. I've been saying I'm going to get canceled for the last 2 years.
This is the same Logan Paul who built his career on controversy, scams, and pure clownery.
Logan is a man who will say anything he thinks he is supposed to say so that the people in charge of him don't take his YouTube channel away. Because if he loses it, he has nothing else.
Let's not forget, this is the genius who filmed a dead body in Japan and laughed. The same Logan Paul who launched a crypto scam, stole millions, then acted like it never happened. Now he wants the moral high ground? Logan, you have no principles, no integrity, and not even a real personality, too.
He doesn't believe what he's saying. He's bought and sold. He's a puppet. He's a clown. And his clown is, when you're a clown, right?
And Logan's so-called fighting career? He barely survived an amateur bout with KSI before running straight to WWE. A place so fake even your grandma knows it. That's where he belongs, throwing staged punches at actors in a choreographed spectacle, pretending to be tough while knowing nobody is actually trying to hurt him.
I don't take it personally, but I do have a dislike, just as on a personal level in general, for cowardice, hypocrisy, switching up on people. That's just not how I roll with my team.
Logan's fight with Floyd Mayweather was a complete joke. Floyd carried him for 8 rounds like he was babysitting a toddler. If Mayweather had actually tried, Logan would have been unconscious before round 2. But Logan needed to survive to keep the scam alive, so they turned it into a glorified sparring session. Logan isn't a fighter. He's a walking marketing campaign in boxing gloves, selling hype and fake drama while real fighters risk their lives in the sport.
You are a clown. You are a performing clown.
And then there's Jake Paul, the so-called problem child, who's really just a privileged, attention-starved YouTuber pretending to be a boxer. His entire fake boxing career is built on cherry-picking opponents like a scam artist choosing his next victim. Retired MMA fighters with zero boxing experience, undersized influencers, and washed-up athletes. Every fight was carefully selected to make him look good while avoiding any real challenge.
When I made the video, I really disliked Jake Paul. Now, I don't dislike him. I understand him. I want to make something clear. I would still kick the living fuck.
And now, Jake's latest masterpiece, fighting a 58-year-old Mike Tyson. Let's pause and appreciate the level of cowardice it takes to call yourself a serious boxer while facing a man nearly eligible for a senior citizen discount. Mike Tyson is a legend, no doubt, but this isn't 1986. And clearly, this isn't the Tyson who knocked people out in 90 seconds. This is a businessman cashing in on nostalgia, and Jake knows it. If Jake were serious about boxing, he'd be fighting young, active, dangerous fighters, but he's not, because he knows exactly what would happen.
However, I do understand what he's doing. I understand that he is very, very smart, even with his marketing angle. I'm just a YouTuber. You're not just a YouTuber. You're a full-grown man with the best coaches in the world who's dedicated his life to learning how to box for years. You know how to box. You're not a complete amateur. You know how to box very well. 3, 4, 5 years of training combat sports. You can box.
Let's talk about Tommy Fury. The first time Jake actually fought someone his own age, size, and with real boxing experience. Jake got humbled the moment he couldn't rely on facing an ex-UFC fighter with no boxing skills. The illusion was shattered. And what did Jake do after that? Did he fight another real boxer? Nope. He went back to fighting old men and influencers. He's not interested in competition. He's just trying to keep the scam going.
He's allowed himself to become the biggest clown on the internet, and now he's famous, right? Because he's an idiot. But he has a bunch of money, so he gets to...
The Paul brothers' so-called rivalry is as real as Logan's WWE matches and Jake's boxing record. It's not about competition. It's a business stunt, a scripted drama designed to cash in on controversy. Andrew Tate has already exposed them. Jake and Logan aren't fighting because of real beef. They're fighting for a multi-million-dollar payday, and their gullible fan base will eat it up like the suckers they are.
I have the opposite perspective. I feel like ruining my little brother's boxing career would be so bad.
This is the same recycled playbook they've been running for years. Fake drama, exaggerated feuds, and ridiculous WWE-style storylines, all designed to generate headlines and boost pay-per-view sales. It's the most obvious cash grab in combat sports history. They manufacture tension, throw out staged social media insults, add a few dramatic face-offs, and then act like they're settling it in the ring, all while laughing all the way to the bank. And guess what? It works because people are gullible enough to believe it. Logan and Jake aren't enemies. They're business partners, and this entire fight is just another money-printing scam disguised as a grudge match.
Listen, he's a young kid out there trying to make some money.
Tate has already exposed their lack of loyalty, and this so-called rivalry proves it. Logan is teaming up with KSI, the same guy who publicly embarrassed Jake, and somehow that's not a red flag? What kind of brother partners, with his sibling's biggest enemy just for a payday? Logan and KSI literally own a company together, Prime Energy, a cheap, sugar-filled scam drink they sell to their fan base while pretending to be fighters. Now, suddenly, Logan is fighting Jake. It's so obviously staged that it's insulting to anyone with an IQ above room temperature. Fiend.
Thing to do with some sort of episodic thing, right? That was my first thought. This is not a fight. This is some sort of episodic or documentary style.
Let's be real. The only fight that actually matters is Andrew Tate versus Jake Paul. That's the fight that would settle everything, but guess what? Jake doesn't want it. Tate has already said he's been in talks with Jake's team, but Jake refuses to sign the contract because he knows exactly what would happen. He dodges real fights like his life depends on it.
I'm just gonna tell you the truth, it's not. They're not.
Tate has already called out Jake Paul's steroid use, and that's another reason. This fight isn't happening. Jake wouldn't even pass a legitimate drug test, and everyone knows it. He bulks up unnaturally fast, jumps weight classes like it's nothing, and his physique clearly screams synthetic enhancements. Meanwhile, Tate's a world champion kickboxer with a genuine combat record. No rigged fights, no cherry-picked opponents, no scripted wins. Jake's entire career is built on fake fights, but against Tate, there's nowhere to hide. This circus between Jake and Logan is just another distraction, another phony fight designed to fool the masses. These two clowns have somehow convinced people they're real fighters when everything they do is part of a carefully crafted business strategy. The worst part? Their brainwashed fans actually believe it. People throw money at these scripted fights thinking they're watching a real rivalry unfold. In reality, Logan and Jake are business partners cashing in on stupidity. Tate is laughing at how easily people fall for this nonsense, at how simple it is for the Paul brothers to manipulate their audience into funding their scams. This fight isn't about competition. It's about selling drama, selling controversy, and making sure Logan and Jake stay in the headlines. The biggest scam in combat sports history is unfolding right in front of everyone's eyes, and the fans are willingly buying into it. Jake and Logan are not fighters, not warriors, not competitors. They're businessmen, content creators, reality show actors who've turned boxing into a joke. This fight isn't about pride or proving who's the best. It's just another business transaction, and the real losers are anyone dumb enough to pay for it. Andrew Tate sees right through it, and so does anyone with an IQ higher than a glass of water. This isn't boxing, and it's certainly not about legacy. It's a money-making circus, and Jake and Logan Paul are the two biggest clowns in it.